Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Atsiri, and I'm a leader for Maine West High School's human rights group, Voice for the Nameless, as well. And before joining Voice for the Nameless, the word refugee had always just been a term to me to describe a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, for example. I joined this group so that I could be more exposed to the realities of the world and not simply just be taught about it, but actually live it and be a part of it. I can assure all of you that ever since I have joined this group, I have been provided with incredible opportunities, and now I can actually put faces, especially of those of young children, when I think of a refugee. An amazing experience that I had through Voice was going through an organization called Refugee One to volunteer and help run their Halloween party. I was in charge of taking a group of kids trick-or-treating around the neighborhood. Seeing their eyes go wide when they saw candy and seeing them run and jump and simply be so happy despite their horrible circumstances has motivated me to help out and take action even more. A little girl who was in my group was holding her friend's hand while trick-or-treating instead of mine like other kids did. And at times she would be ahead of the group to get candy. She didn't really talk to me, but she talked to other kids. And when we got back to the Refugee One Center, she tapped my leg and she thanked me for coming, and she told me that she loved me and she gave me a hug. That moment I will never forget because her face was so incredibly sincere. You could see it in her eyes and in her face that she was truly happy. I never expected, though, that simply taking her trick-or-treating and helping her put on her costume would have that big of an impact on her. This showed me how simple my actions were, but the great impact that they had, especially on young children. I will never forget that moment that I had with that little girl. I can truly say that her thank you and her I love you were so genuine and heartfelt and humble that when I told her that I loved her back and thanked her for letting me be part of her group, I almost started to tear up. Since this experience, it has changed my worldview and has made me want to take action even more on this issue. If you can get one thing from this story, is to please get involved and help. These people just want to feel loved and safe and be assured that everything will be okay. I think that's what we all want. We all have one thing in common, and that is that we are all human. We all feel, we all think, we all have emotions. We all have one thing in common, and that is our humanity. I just want to encourage all of you to please take action in some way and overlook the small differences. If you aren't already involved in some way in experiencing and appreciating this diversity, I would encourage you to do so because we are all different, and that's what I think makes us beautiful. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kayla Baez. I am also a student leader for the Maine West Human Rights Group, Voice for the Nameless. Since joining Voice 3 years ago, I've been fortunate enough to be exposed to many disheartening but eye-opening issues, one being the refugee crisis. Voice has been fortunate to work with a wonderful Chicago-based organization called Refugee One. Refugee One is a settlement agency that works with approximately 2,500 displaced people a year, regardless of age, race, or religion, and to help them attain independence and become self-sustainable in their new home. We've done a great variety of things with Refugee One, ranging from backpack drives for the dreaded back-to-school time or the Halloween parties in the fall. If I'm being honest, prior to all the work that Voice has done with the organization, I hadn't known much about the refugee crisis issues or much about refugees at all. But the reality is that once you get to know that, once you get past the things that make us different from each other, more importantly, once you learn to accept the diversity that makes America a place of endless stories, there isn't much to know about refugees because they're just like you and I. At their holiday party, many of the young children are scared of Santa, just as some of us and many of your children had been when they first took their photos with Santa around Christmas time. During the refugee after-school programs, many of the kids prowl as they are filled with a competitive nature, as we all did when we played musical chairs. Their faces filled with the same light and joy many parents see on the faces as their children as they open their presents in the holiday spirit. In these last 2 years of working with Refugee One, I've learned that there isn't much that separates any one of us from any one refugee except their story. Many of them are filled with hardship, just as I am sure many of ours are, but that's just another thing that should not serve as a wall to divide, but to connect us in this place of endless stories. Thank you.